ማይ ቪዥን ማች እምነት የሚጥሉበት የአይቲ ስልጠና ተቋም በዘርፉ ከ15 ዓመታት በላይ በተግባር የተፈተነ የሥራ ልምድ ባላቸው ምስጉን ኢትዮጵያውያን የተመሰረተ። ሙያውን መቀየር ወይም ማሻሻል ከፈለጉ ወደ ማይ ቪዥን ማች ይምጡ። በሼርፖይንት ዴቨሎፕመንት፣ በቢዝነስ ኢንተሊጀንስ፣ በዳታቤዝ አድሚኒስትሬሽን፣ በአማዞን ዌብ ሰርቪስስ፣ በአዙር ክላውድ ሰርቪስ በመረጡት ሙያ ለእርስዎ አመቺ በሆነ ሰዓት ከቤቶ በምቾት ሆነው በዝቅተኛ ክፍያ ማይ ቪዥን ማች ያሰለጥኖታል። ጥያቄ ቢኖሮ ከትምህርት ሰዓት ውጪ የአንድ ለአንድ እገዛ ያገኛሉ። እያንዳንዱን ትምህርት በተግባር ፕሮጀክት እየሰሩ ያዳብራሉ። ከዚህ በፊት ስልጠና ወስደው ከሆነና በተማሩት ሙያ ፕሮጀክት ወይም ስራ እየሰሩ በተግባር የስራ ዓለምን ማወቅና መለማመድም ከፈለጉ ለዚህ ዓላማ ብቻ ተብሎ የተዘጋጀ በአይነቱ ልዩ የሆነው የማይ ቪዥን ማች ኢንተርንሺፕ ፕሮግራማችን አለልዎ። ስልጠናውን ሲጨርሱ ሬዙሜ በማዘጋጀት እንረዳዎታለን። ኢንተርቪው እናለማምዶታለን። ለስራ ብቁና ዝግጁ እናደርጎታለን። ለበለጠ መረጃ በስልክ ቁጥራችን 202-455-6599 ይደውሉ። ማይ ቪዥን ማች የእርሶ ለእርሶ ነው።
Hi everybody. Today we're gonna learn how to design a simple calculator using the Python programming language. So I'm just gonna show you an overview of the Python language and how it can be used to design the program or a simple application that runs on a console. So a console is something that looks like this. There will be an input from the user. The user will write something to this window, and after the program that you write processes your input, it will output something. Now, an example of that can be a calculator, an actual calculator, like a Texas Instruments calculator. The input is using the keyboard, right? On the calculator, you type in numbers, that's your input, and then when you do plus or minus or division or multiplication and put in another number and press equals, it will do the calculation and it will give you the final output. So, what we are going to do, what programming does is processing the input, doing some things to the input, maybe multiplication, maybe addition, or as the program you write becomes more and more complicated, it could be more than a calculator. So there will be there will be an input from the user, and there will be an output for a calculator, maybe 1 plus 1, and then the output would be 2 for maybe the program you write, maybe for a video game. So the input might be up, left, right. I guess if you play using your computer, it will be W, A, S, and D, and these could be the inputs. And then the program you write will react to what the user is putting in, and then your program, the program you write, the code you write, will do the displaying of a character moving in the screen, or the character shooting at another character, things like that, as you guys know about video games. Okay, so let's quickly get into writing a simple program. And what this program is going to do for us is take in two numbers, and then take in also what we want to do to these two numbers: add or subtract or multiply or divide, and then output the result of the calculation. Okay, so in Python, we write instructions, we write code, and there is a certain way of writing code, and that is, for instance, if you are speaking the Amharic language, there is a way of speaking it. There is a grammar, right? So that the other person understands it, we have to follow the grammar. And the same way, when we write in Python code, there is a certain way of writing it. There's a grammar. So for the grammar that we could use to tell the program we're going to write to take an input from the user is called the input, all right? And there's such a thing called a variable as well. So let's say the variable is going to be number 1, and in this variable is going to be put what we ask from the user. How we're going to do that is using the input function. This is called a function, right? when you use a function, you need to use parentheses. Inside the parentheses, what you'd put for the input function is what you are going to tell the user to input. And in our case, it's going to be number 1, right? Okay. Bear with me. You'll see what this will do. And the second number I want, I'll store in this variable called number 2, and I want to do input and number 2. Okay. So if I run this, you see it asks the user for number 1, and then I might put in 2, and then number 2, 3. You see, it's now over. Okay. There is some other code that I need to delete right here. Bear with me. Yes. Okay. Okay. So in our case, I'm just going to delete every single thing in this so that we only have this. Okay. So if I run this, so this is the only code that is in here. It asks me for number 1. I can put in a number, and a number 2. I can put in another number. It's over. The program is over. I'm not doing anything, right? Okay, let's say I just want to add the 2 and then display it to the user. Then I can use the print function. This takes in whatever we give it and then prints it out. Say we want to print some name. Okay, so let's just print Abebe. So 1, 2, and then you see it prints out Abebe. But what we want is the sum of the first and the second, right? And we said that the first input that the user puts in is stored. It's put in this variable, this bucket, this thing that we can put a number or some information in. And same thing for the second one. You see, we put in a value, a number, an information to a variable using the equal sign. This is called the assignment statement. Okay, and then assignment operator. Okay, so it takes what's on the right side and then puts it on the left. And what's on the right side is the function is what enables us to ask the user to put in something using the keyboard. Okay, so instead what I want to do right here is put out the sum of the 2. All right, so it's going to be something like this. Excuse me, number 1. Okay, then I run it. I get, let's say, 1 and 2. The sum of the 2 is okay. We have a problem here. It's joining 1 and 2. You see, it's not adding them. You see, so what I get from the user, I need to change it to a number, and one way of changing it to a number is using this. Okay. Okay, now if I run it, 1 and 2 gives us 3.
ማይ ቪዥን ማች እምነት የሚጥሉበት የአይቲ ስልጠና ተቋም በዘርፉ ከ15 ዓመታት በላይ በተግባር የተፈተነ የሥራ ልምድ ባላቸው ምስኩን ኢትዮጵያውያን የተመሰረተ ሙያውን መቀየር ወይም ማሻሻል ከፈለጉ ወደ ማይ ቪዥን ማች ይምጡ። በሼርፖይንት ዴቨሎፕመንት፣ በቢዝነስ ኢንተሊጀንስ፣ በዳታቤዝ አድሚኒስትሬሽን፣ በአማዞን ዌብ ሰርቪስስ፣ በአዙር ክላውድ ሰርቪስ በመረጡት ሙያ ለእርስዎ አመቺ በሆነ ሰዓት ከቤቶ በምቾት ሆነው በዝቅተኛ ክፍያ ማይ ቪዥን ማች ያሰለጥኖታል። ጥያቄ ቢኖሮ ከትምህርት ሰዓት ውጪ የአንድ ለአንድ እገዛ ያገኛሉ። እያንዳንዱን ትምህርት በተግባር ፕሮጀክት እየሰሩ ያዳብራሉ። ከዚህ በፊት ስልጠና ወስደው ከሆነና በተማሩት ሙያ ፕሮጀክት ወይም ስራ እየሰሩ በተግባር የሥራ ዓለምን ማወቅና መለማመድም ከፈለጉ ለዚህ ዓላማ ብቻ ተብሎ የተዘጋጀ በአይነቱ ልዩ የሆነው የማይ ቪዥን ማች ኢንተርንሺፕ ፕሮግራማችን አለልዎ። ስልጠናውን ሲጨርሱ ሬዙሜ በማዘጋጀት እንረዳዎታለን። ኢንተርቪው እናለማምዶታለን። ለሥራ ብቁና ዝግጁ እናደርጎታለን። ለበለጠ መረጃ በስልክ ቁጥራችን 202-455-6599 ደውሉ። ማይ ቪዥን ማች የእርሶ ለእርሶ ነው።
Right? If I run it again, 10 and 12 gives me 22, right? It gives me 22. So it's working. Now what we want to make it a calculator, right? And we want it to do not just addition, but many things, okay? Now we're going to ask the user to put in the operator, okay? And then in this case, it's not a number, so let's just ask for the user for an operator. And then here's one cool stuff about Python, about programming. You can do some things depending on, you can do different things depending on what the user is telling you. So if the user puts in the operator, the plus sign, we'll go and adding. If the user puts in subtraction, the minus sign, we'll do minus here. And then if the user puts the multiplication or division, we'll do accordingly. Okay, so let's just do all of them here. Okay, number 1 minus number 2. Okay, print number 1 times number 2. Okay, and then print number 1 times number 2. Excuse me, this is divided by. Okay, so now if I run this 10 and 2, and then the operator, let's just put it for, but we're not using the operator right now. We're just doing adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. We have 12, 8, 20, 5.0. Why? Because 10 plus 2 is 12, 10 minus 2 is 8, 10 times 2 is 20, and then 10 divided by 2 is 5. Okay, 5.0. Now, what I want to do is, if I say, this is another syntax, this is a grammar of Python, if operator, so we said in the operator, we tell the user to put the operator that they want to apply to these two numbers that the user previously put in. So we say if operator equals to, or let's leave that. If we can just say if operator is plus. So we put these quotes just to indicate that this is something that the user puts in. Okay, so if it's this case, we print it. Okay, so we have to indent to include this inside this if. Okay, this is basically saying if operator is plus, then if this is true, if the operator is plus, whatever is under this if statement will be done, will be run. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is if operator is what? Subtraction. Okay, again, we need to put it inside the quotes because we want to indicate that whatever is inside the quotes is what the user will be putting in. So you see, if the operator is plus, this will be run. But if the operator is plus, it is not minus, so this will not be run. Okay, this part will not be run. Okay, part will not be done. Okay, now we go to the next one. If operator is multiply, we do that. And then again, if operator is division, we do this. Okay, so this is only going to do one thing at a time. Let's run it. Okay, so right, so instead of is, we must do this. It's warning us. This basically means is. Okay, right, now it's running perfectly. Let's do 10 and then 2. What do we want to do? Let's say multiplication, right? Let's do multiplication. Yep, it just does 20. So since it's a star, you see it goes through everything. It checks if the operator, which is star in our case, which we put in right after 10, 2, and then right after 10 and 2, it sees that if it's a plus, it's not, right? It's not a minus. So these two will not be run. They will not be executed. But operator is star, so this will be run, and it goes down again. Operator is not division, so this will not be run. So only this part will be run. But if I do minus, say, what would happen? 10, 2 out, and the operator, if I do minus, it will be 8. So we have made ourselves the simplest possible operator. we give calculator, we give it 10. We give it the first number, the second number, and a plus or minus, or multiplication or division, and then it'll give us the answer. Okay. So that is it. We made a simple calculator. Thank you for listening, guys. That is it for today.
MVM ማች እምነት የሚጥሉበት የአይቲ ስልጠና ተቋም በዘርፉ ከ15 ዓመታት በላይ በተግባር የተፈተነ የሥራ ልምድ ባላቸው ምስኩን ኢትዮጵያውያን የተመሰረተ ሙያውን መቀየር ወይም ማሻሻል ከፈለጉ ወደ MVM ማች ይምጡ። በሼርፖይንት ዴቨሎፕመንት፣ በቢዝነስ ኢንተሊጀንስ፣ በዳታቤዝ አድሚኒስትሬሽን፣ በአማዞን ዌብ ሰርቪስስ፣ በአዙር ክላውድ ሰርቪስ በመረጡት ሙያ ለእርስዎ አመቺ በሆነ ሰዓት ከቤቶ በምቾት ሆነው በዝቅተኛ ክፍያ MVM ማች ያሰለጥኖታል። ጥያቄ ቢኖር ከትምህርት ሰዓት ውጪ የአንድ ለአንድ እገዛ ያገኛሉ። እያንዳንዱን ትምህርት በተግባር ፕሮጀክት እየሰሩ ያዳብራሉ። ከዚህ በፊት ስልጠና ወስደው ከሆነና በተማሩት ሙያ ፕሮጀክት ወይም ስራ እየሰሩ በተግባር የሥራ ዓለምን ማወቅና መለማመድም ከፈለጉ ለዚህ ዓላማ ብቻ ተብሎ የተዘጋጀ በአይነቱ ልዩ የሆነው የMVM ማች ኢንተርንሺፕ ፕሮግራማችን አለልዎ። ስልጠናውን ሲጨርሱ ሬዙሜ በማዘጋጀት እንረዳዎታለን። ኢንተርቪው እናለማምዶታለን። ለሥራ ብቁና ዝግጁ እናደርጎታለን። ለበለጠ መረጃ በስልክ ቁጥራችን 202-455-6599 ደውሉ። MVM ማች የእርሶ ለእርሶ ነው።